Kahala la Yahweh Bahashem Yahawashi Waha Recha Kwadash. All praises and glory go to you, Lord. Double honors and respect go to our apostles, bishops, elders, and teachers, the men of Great Millstone. To you I say Shalom. Salutations to the hopeful elect. It's your brother Amraya. And let's get into it. Tonight's epistle is about Ahlazar BanLawya, the ex-leader of the Sakari Hebrew Israelite camp, okay? Denouncing that he is a Hebrew Israelite and basically taking his hands off of the plow at this point. And this goes to that old Proverbs here in 26, Proverbs chapter 26. And we'll grab it for you right now, verse 11. As a dog returneth to his vomit, so a fool returneth to his folly. All right. And this is exactly what is happening. Now, I prepared a snippet for you dealing with an interview Ahlazar did with Sam, this Catholic defender, who I cannot stand, absolutely cannot stand him. But back when he was doing these debates, he did get online, and this snippet is going to show his mind state as he slides down this rabbit hole that he is currently in. So we're going to watch this snippet, watch him denounce. I slowed down a couple key parts because he himself announced that being a Hebrew Israelite was cosplay for him, all right? Cosplay, like putting on a uniform and acting out history, all right, or some fantasy. And I knew this was coming. You could tell by the interview he did with Sam that his mind was tossed to and fro. He's a double-minded man, all right, unstable in all his ways. But let's watch the snippet, and we'll come back with some more scriptures after the matter.
I'm calling, because I'm having a bit of a conflict within myself. I'm calling, because I'm having a bit of a conflict within myself, and I, really want to know if you could help. Just so you can understand my background.
Yeah. Well, someone just said you're a Sakari leader.
Who? Well, I may or may not be a Hebrew Israelite, but that's not what I'm calling. Well, I may or may not be a Hebrew Israelite, but that's not what I'm calling.
No, but they say you're a leader, a Sakari leader, Ahlazar BanLawya.
Yes, Ahlazar is my name. So if you could walk with me, Sam.
It depends, man. Sometimes I don't like the journeys people take me on. What is it? Give me your question. Let's see.
I understand, but my thing is, some would say I've been pulled into a cult, right? Some would say I've been pulled into a cult, right? Some would say I've been pulled into a cult, right? Now, I grew up, just so you can understand my background, I grew up as a Roman Catholic, all right? I was baptized and, pretty much my whole life until, I started coming across some of this information.
Okay.
And recently, my mother, and not even just recently, just over the years since I've come into what some would call a cult, she's urged me consistently to come back to the church.
Good woman.
Okay, yeah, she's urged me to come back to the church, but to be honest with you, due to some of the reservations and things I have and kind of lack of an ability to come across anybody to, I think, adequately represent the church, it's just never happened. You know what I mean? Kind of lack of an ability to come across anybody to, I think, adequately represent the church. It's just never happened. You know what I mean? I'm not a part of the Hebrew Israelite community. I just got done talking about it. I can't be associated with the Hebrew Israelites anymore. The real deal. How do you become an Israelite? You don't become an Israelite. I'm not coming in representing the Hebrew Israelite community anymore. Nah, I ain't doing that. Somebody asked me so what do you identify as now? If you're saying you're not a so-called Hebrew Israelite, why lead a movement? Well, because it's a movement, and movements stop. But are actually cosplaying They're actually cosplaying as the ancient Israelites. And they are exactly like Christians because they're still picking and choosing the parts of the Bible in which they want to follow. The ancient Israelites. And they are exactly like Christians because they're still picking and choosing the parts of the Bible in which they want to follow. The Israelites have been bamboozled. Have allowed themselves to be bamboozled and continually bamboozle themselves. I just want people to understand that Hebrew Israelites consensually are shooting themselves in the foot. Nobody's taking it seriously.
All right. Well, you heard it from his mouth, his own mouth. Ahlazar BanLawya denounces that he is a Hebrew Israelite. And Proverbs 26:11 again, as a dog returneth to his vomit, so a fool returneth to his folly. All right. And you saw this coming a mile away. He was already questioning too many things. He had gone off on too many areas, despised the writings of Paul, and then has the audacity to talk about those out here not respecting the entire Bible. But the entire time, this man was only a hireling, okay? And we'll get that for you right now. It's ultimately what it boils down to. And Salakia, I need to be more specific. So we're going to John chapter 10. All right. I'm going to scroll down. All right. This is John chapter 10 and verse 11. It says, and this is Yahushua speaking. I am the good shepherd, and the good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. But he that is an hireling, and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, seeth the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep, and fleeth, and the wolf catcheth them, and scattereth the sheep. The hireling fleeth, because he is a hireling, and careth not for the sheep. I am the good shepherd, and know my sheep, and am known of mine. All right. Now, what is a hireling? Because that is exactly what Ahlazar is, a hireling. Okay.
Strong's G 3411, Misthotas.
Right. And it goes into hired servant. All right. Wage worker. In this case, I would have to consider him a filthy lucre. Okay. Someone who preaches for profit. And this is why it was so alluring to Ahlazar, because he was able to line his pockets very heftily, might I add, by twisting the words of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai into his own filthy, greedy, lusty gains for himself. Okay? So he is truly a hireling, and the hireling careth not for the sheep. All right? That's why they flee when any sign of trouble comes. This man was not rooted, all right, in Yahushai. Thereby, he easily let go of the plow, all right? And now that he has fallen out, all right, taking his hands off of the plow, he is not fit for the kingdom. This can be found here in Luke chapter 9, and I got to scroll down quite a bit. In the last verse, verse 62, it says, and Yahushua said unto him, no man having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom. This man is not fit for the kingdom. All right. And I would say disappointed, but I never followed Sakari. I never followed Ahlazar. I've only heard of his antics and shenanigans. And watching some of these interviews he's done, these debates, it was easy to see that this man was only in it for filthy lucre. And it was a matter of time before he would be exposed. And I did a video back when all of the allegations came out against Ahlazar, telling the same advice that I'm telling to any other brothers that might go through any afflictions. You take your hand off of the plow, you're done. All right, you got to continue to do the work. All right, there are no excuses. We serve an austere power. All right, And I'll skip up a few verses so you can kind of understand what I'm saying. All right. Now, we'll skip to verse 59, Luke 9 and 59. As he said to another, follow me. But he said, Lord, suffer me first to go bury my father. Yahushua said unto him, let the dead bury their dead. But go thou and preach the kingdom of power. And another said, Lord, I will follow you. Let me first go bid them farewell which are at my home or at my home at my house. Yahushua said unto him, no man, having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom. All right, and this goes for all of you. And Ahlazar, you're done. You're not fit for the kingdom, man. All right. We serve an austere power. He doesn't put up with excuses or, lack of faith. Period, point blank, end of discussion. All right. And this man took on a role as a leader, but was not rooted in Yahushua, not rooted in the faith. And thereby, a lot of your followers are going to go down with you, but you are going to receive the worst of it, Ahlazar. All right. I pulled this up in my original Bible I like to use. We're done with the blue letter at this point. But this is Luke chapter 14 and verse 26. It says, if any man, notice this is in red, and this is Yahushua speaking. If any man come to me and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, yea, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. And whosoever doth not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. For which of you intending to build a tower sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it? Right? So you were supposed to count the cost before you went on this walk. This is a very La Costa Nostra deal between us and Yahushua, man. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Plain and simply put, once you get in it, you're stuck. And if you try to get out, you're pretty much bringing guaranteed demise to yourself. You're going to be unalived by Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. When they roll out that MOT to the B, you're going to take it, Ahlazar, because you were never rooted in the faith. Verse 29, lest haply after he have laid the foundation and is not able to finish it. Why? Because he was only a hireling from the beginning, a hired gun, a hired servant, all right? A mercenary. That's you, Ahlazar, all right? Verse 29, lest haply after he have laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it began to mock him, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. And that's you, Ahlazar, all right? And let this be a warning to the rest of you Israelites out here who are lukewarm, on the fence, playing games, not rooted in the faith. Just go ahead and cut your ties now, man. Go enjoy what little existence you have in America, Babylon the Great left. Go enjoy the so-called self-proclaimed white man's kingdom. Because you're going to be found out and you're going to be exposed. And the Lord is going to reject you. All right, because you're not rooted in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. From here, I'm going to go to 2 Peter. And I don't want this being too long. Let this just be a stark warning to the rest of you who idolize Ahlazar. All right, Ahlazar just brought, unless he repent, I'm not Yahushua. I can't tell you how this is going to go, but I reassure you, it's not looking good for Ahlazar. All right, this is 2 Peter chapter 2, and I'll begin at verse 9. It says, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. Right. But chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness, and despise government. Presumptuous are they, self-willed. They are not afraid to speak evil of dignities. All right. And ultimately, this is boiling out to be Ahlazar again, man. All right. He never had a fear of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. If he would have reconsidered rejecting Paul's writings. All right. And I'm just saying that as a man. But continue reading. Verse 11, whereas angels, which are greater in power and might, bring not railing accusation against them before Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. But these, as brute beasts, made to be taken and destroyed, speak evil of things they understand not, and shall utterly perish in their own corruption. Right. All right. This is why I say you can't fake the funk with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, man. All right. And he will unalive you over this, Ahlazar. Verse 13, and shall receive the reward of the unrighteousness, as they count it pleasure to riot in the daytime. Spots they are, and blemishes, sporting themselves with their own deceivings while they feast with you. All right. Hey, sleeping with the enemy. All right. Watch that movie. Verse 14, having eyes full of adultery, and that cannot cease from sin, beguiling unstable souls, and heart they have exercised with covetous practices, cursed children, which have forsaken the right way and are gone astray, following the way of Balaam, the son of Bosor, who loved the wages of unrighteousness, but was rebuked for his iniquity. The dumbass speaking with man's voice forbade the madness of the prophet. These are wells without water, clouds. They are carried with a tempest, to whom the mist of darkness is reserved forever. For when they speak great swelling words of vanity, they allure through the lust of the flesh. This is you, Ahlazar. Through much wantonness, those that were clean escape from them who live in error. While they promise them liberty, they themselves are servants of corruptions. Because you're a hireling, all right? Whatever you lined your pocket with, whatever riches you walked away from, hey, riches are not going to profit you in the day of wrath, bro. You're done, all right? You're exposed. And not only that, you have quite frankly let everyone see your true colors, that you're a coward, all right? That you have no heart, you have no gumption, all right? You are not going to persevere. You're not one of the elect, all right? And you never were. And anyone that followed you, that have been deceived by you, hey, they're marked just the same way you are, with the haragma that is coming, all right? Verse 18, for when they speak great swelling words of vanity, they allure through the lust of the flesh, through much wantonness, those that were clean escape from them who live in error. While they promise them liberty, they themselves are servants of corruption, for of whom a man is overcome, of the same is he brought in bondage. All right, whether you're a servant to sin and death or righteousness to life everlasting, either way, you're going to be a slave of either Yahweh Shai or sin and death. It's just how it works. And you have chosen the latter. Verse 20, for if after they have escaped the pollutions of the world through the knowledge of Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach, they are again entangled therein and overcome, the latter end is worse with them than the beginning. For it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness than after they have known it, to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them. But it is happened unto them according to the true proverb, the dog is turned to his own vomit again, and the sow that was washed to her wallowing in the mire. Right. This is what has occurred. And this is because people are ignorant. They hear the warnings. You learn from the elder apostle Tahar on down of Great Millstone. You knew the consequences of taking your hands off the plow. You knew what was going to happen the minute you denounced that you're a Hebrew Israelite. The only thing left for you, well, you know, we don't have to say it out loud. The brethren know too. You're done. You're cooked. All right? I'm going to end out in Sirach, something I learned from the elders years ago, and I never forget. Chapter 34. All right? And this is verse 25. It says, he that washeth himself After the touching of a dead body, if he touch it again, what availeth his washing? Huh? If you're just going to go back into the world and be a plain old nigga after repenting and coming into the truth, maybe, because again, a lot of your behavior that was called into question recently suggests that you never fully repented. But who am I to judge? We all struggle with things here and there. And I gave the same advice. Back then, when we heard the allegations, I said, do not take your hands off of the plow. Don't return to the world. All right? Finish the race no matter what you lose in the marathon. Whether you lose wives, houses, cars, you got to keep going hard for Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And if you're not willing to do this, if you're not rooted in Yahweh Shai, all right, what was the point of your washing? You're repenting. It avails nothing to you. You have not benefited from it in any way, shape, or fashion. All right? But reading it again, Sirach 34 and 25. He that washeth himself after the touching of a dead body, if he touch it again, what availeth his washing? So is it with a man that fasteth for his sins and go again and doeth the same, who will hear his prayer, or what doth his humbling profit him? Nothing at all. All right? Ahlazar, you're done, bro. And anyone that follows you or that wants to defend you, they're done. All right? And officially, you have been mocked. All right? And many more men of the Lord are going to make more videos about your soft ass. All right? At the end of the day, you deserve it. Hopefully, this has been edifying. Shalom.